In this video, I want to save you some time, but most importantly, a lot of money by sharing with you some of the fundamental investing mistakes that I see people making over and over, especially the beginners who just start investing. Now, even if you have been in the market for a year, 2 or 3, I still see people committing the exact same mistakes that it's costing them their entire life. Because investing isn't about just getting out there and struggling your entire life. Yes, that might seem like the case in the beginning when you actually try to build the fundamentals of your investing. But at the end of the day, you want to reach to a position where your money, your wealth, your portfolio keeps growing on their own. But what you see, what happens in reality is that people just move from one investment to another and they never keep getting out of that cycle and never get to financial freedom. Investing mistake number 1, do not buy cheap stocks. Now, the basic principle of investing is to buy low and sell high. And the difference is going to be the profit that you are going to make. And a lot of people look at cheap stocks that cost $1, $2, or $5, or maybe even less than that. And they think that if they cost so little, they can certainly go to $50, $100. And that's how they will get rich overnight. Investing or stock prices that you see on the screen mean absolutely nothing if you don't know the underlying business behind it. Like, it only makes sense for you to take a look at that stock when you know that you've done your analysis, you've studied the business, and you know that, the value of this business is this much. So based on the price that it's being traded, it is overvalued or undervalued, and you make an informed investing decision. But if you don't have those tools, then you can only rely on your general understanding of the business. If it's a well-known business, such as Apple, whose products you probably use, you have your iPhone, you have your MacBook, and you use a long list of other services that Apple provides. So even if you made a wrong investing decision, this is a solid business that is not going to be going bankrupt tomorrow. Or take Coca-Cola, for example. Yes, you might not know its financial statements, but given the fact that every store that you go in any point or anywhere around the globe, you can find a Coca-Cola, you know for a fact that it's a good business. So if you don't know how to do those analysis, it's much better to stick to something safe, even if those stock prices, such as Microsoft, whose stock price at the time that I'm recording this video is around $450, might be a far better and cheaper option than a stock that is worth like $1 or $2 from a company that you know absolutely nothing about. Now, investing mistake number 2, investing when you have debt. And this is probably the biggest misconception that people often make. You see, if you have any kind of debt above 8%, then you should not even consider investing at all. You are making a grave mistake. Because if you go to the market and you also make on the other side like 8% return rates, on the other side you have an 8% debt, guess what? You're breaking even. But it's not as easy as it looks. Because when it comes to the market, because of market fluctuations, you might not get those 8% annually. And you also have to consider the fact that you will pay taxes on the profits that you make in the market. On the other side, the bank doesn't care. Just like your investments grows exponentially because of the power of compound interest, guess what happens on the other side of the river? Your debt also grows by 8% with the compound interest. And if you take a look at the interest rates that are being charged on personal loans or credit card loans, they range anywhere from 15% to 30%. So let's take an example. Let's say you start investing $10,000 where you get 8% annually. On the other side, you have a credit card debt of 20%. So even if you get like 8%, you're still making a loss of 12%. So if you are in a position where you have any kind of debt above 8%, do not start doing anything like investing unless you pay off those debts. In fact, paying off those debts might be the best investment that you can possibly make. Investing mistake number 3, not starting early. Now, people look at Warren Buffett and they're shocked by the amount of wealth he has built through the stock market. I mean, he has a net worth of $150 billion. And unlike other entrepreneurs who've built like successful businesses, successful companies, in some cases, they have built technologies that change the way we live, like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or Steve Jobs. But what people don't pay attention to is how old Warren Buffett is. He's like 94 years old, and he started investing when he was 11. So he is in the market longer than anyone has ever been in the market. Like, I don't genuinely believe that there is anybody in the world today who is alive that has been longer in the market than Warren Buffett. And that's why he's so insanely rich. So if you want to become, you can be as rich as him if you actually stay in the market for that long. In fact, you can be ultra rich without any complicated investing strategy and investing passively and investing a very small amount if you stay that long in the market. Let's assume that you start investing at the age of 20 with $20,000, and then you stay in the market until you are 94, which means that you will be in the market for 74 years. Now, assuming that you will contribute an extra $1,000 every single month, which is a small amount of money, compared to what Warren Buffett is contributing to his portfolio, and let's say that your $1,000 will grow by 5% annually because we have something called inflation. Over the next 74 years, your investments will grow to almost $400 million. And you're not doing anything complicated. You're not even thinking about investing. You're not even analyzing stocks. You're simply taking your money and you're throwing it into the S&P 500. Now, investing mistake number 4, chasing the next wave. Now, what drives me nuts is seeing people who've been in the market for 2, 3, or 5 years, and yet you still see them actually trying to find out a secret loophole, a secret strategy, or some kind of a hidden formula that is going to help them find the next stock that is going to grow. Just go to Reddit forums. You will see people trying to find out, which stock should I buy that is going to exponentially grow in the next 2 weeks or in the next 3 weeks. The problem with those people is that they jump from one trend to another and they never end up financially independent. Like, I'm recording this video when the price of Bitcoin is shooting to the roof. And all those people are buying Bitcoin right now. Now, I don't know the future. I can't predict the future for a fact. But what I can do is take a look at the patterns. And I can tell you right now, without knowing the future, that most of those people who purchased Bitcoin in the last couple of weeks and the last couple of months are going to lose money. Because when the Bitcoin trend is no longer going to be popular, they will just sell at a loss and they will move to the next hot stock or the next hot investment that will be in the news. If you keep chasing the next roller coaster, you will just stay poor like most investors do. Investing mistake number 5, buying the stock just because it fell down. There is a saying that says that whatever falls down will eventually rise. And it makes sense to a certain extent. However, it doesn't work in the stock market. If the stock is falling down, there is literally no reason for it to rise back. There is no reason for it to come back. There are 2 reasons why the stock might fall. Now, number 1, because the overall market is in a crisis. So in that case, yes, it makes sense to actually take a look at it because when the crisis is over, most of these stocks are going to rise back. But in the second case, when the business is suffering, when the fundamentals of the business are suffering, when the business has lost its competitive edge in its industry, and now their competition is catching up, and that's why the stock is falling down, it doesn't mean that it is going to rise back. The only reason that we can believe something like that is possible when we know that the company has fixed its problems, grew its revenue, improved its financial statements. But the only way to do that is for you to understand how the business works, for you to analyze those financial statements, learn how to actually kind of value businesses and compare them to the stocks that they're being traded in the market. Now, if you don't know how to do that, you shouldn't be actually assuming that the stock is going to rise back. Yes, there are cases when the company fixed its problems and grew back. For example, just a couple of years ago, Netflix had a serious problem. They fixed their problems, the stock rose back. Meta or Facebook had the exact same problem. It fell down, they fixed their problems, and they rose back. But you have no idea how many companies out there that couldn't fix their problems, that couldn't build up their businesses back, and they simply filed for bankruptcy. Yes, that stock might rebound, but if you know nothing about it and you're buying that stock, you're gambling, you're not investing. And your chances of losing are much higher than your chances of winning. And finally, the mistake number 6 that you should absolutely avoid going forward to the next year is not joining our program. Why waste so much time and so much of your effort trying to figure out everything on your own when you can simply join our program and learn everything? Because that strategy, that path has been laid, and a lot of people have taken that path and achieved financial freedom. Why deny yourself the luxury of saving yourself so much time and, most importantly, so much money in the first place? And of course, the link to the program is in the description below.